Welcome to this episode of Where the Stones Have a Story to Tell, and today's story is about carved effigies. Do you see the face of a bird in this boulder next to me? The beak, the mouth, the eye. This is something I've walked past hundreds of times and took me years to recognize that. But there's a lot more to this image than just the face of a bird. Take a look at the detail down here. I'm going to show you an image of a bird that went extinct at the end of the last ice age. So I did some research as to birds that went extinct toward the end of the last ice age and came across the Aiolinoris incredibilis. I'm sure that's not the right pronunciation. You can see the source I've cited here, but this was the largest bird of prey known in North America, wingspan up to 17 feet. It's referred to as megafauna, so it went extinct at the same time as the woolly mammoth, the saber-toothed tiger. And that would have been right around 15,000 years ago. Now the image you see here is the superimposed head of the Aiolinoris. You can see the small front beak, and I've colored the front of this carving in red, the outline of the head in yellow, the eye in yellow, and those green stripes on the bottom, the hackles. This is an artist rendition, apparently, of what the bird might have looked like. But in fact, if those hackles on the bottom of the jaw existed, they are strikingly similar. And the beak is strikingly similar to the image you see carved here in a large boulder in Gilbert Hills State Forest. So if this was carved in the image of a bird that went extinct around 15,000 years ago, then who was here to see it? And is there anything else out in Gilbert Hills State Forest that might give us some information around Paleo-Indian settlements and activity in this space that long ago? And the answer is yes. In the case of two structures, and they're called notches, I found two of them out in the woods. There's a U or a V-shaped notch in the top of the stone, and it aligns the viewer to sunrise or sunset on a particular event. The problem with both of those, and I'll show you a quick shot of it here, is that you can't see the horizon because there are 1,000 trees in the way. So either they cleared out all those trees for miles to the horizon, or the trees weren't here yet. And between 15,000 years ago and about 13,000 years ago, there weren't trees here at the end of the last ice age before the forest started to grow. So our notches and the face of this bird, evidence of existence of people here long before the record currently reflects? Well, it's an interesting question, but it's not the most amazing thing I'm going to show you in this episode. Let's take a closer look at a feature up top here. All right, this is a ledge directly on top of the image, the effigy of the bird we've just seen. And you can see that it is L-shaped. A floor here and on the right side. And I want you to remember that L shape when we head to the next effigy. But as you can see from the Sunseeker app, on the equinox, this is headed pretty much directly towards sunset and a little uphill. So as that sun would be dipping down over that horizon, this ledge would be pointing that way. Now, why a ledge instead of a notch? That's a good question. As we know, notches are used to orient people to sunsets and sunrises, but this ledge here, I think, is an important aspect. So, with that, we're going to head to the next effigy and see something truly amazing. All right, we're approaching the second of what I think is a bird effigy. This one's much different, but has some similarities. It's much different because I think it is depicting a baby bird. You can see the pointedness of the beak, the top of the beak here, and then an eye right there. Not quite as clear cut as the first one. However, the interesting thing about this one is it has the same L-shaped ledge as the last bird's effigy. So you could rest some sort of object right on there if you wanted. And the Sunseeker app is showing this aligned to sunrise on the equinox. So what we've got here potentially is a mirror image, but in the opposite. So if the older bird is facing sunset, possibly depicting its waning days on the equinox, the baby bird is facing sunrise on the same exact day with the same exact 90-degree shelf as the big bird effigy has on the top of it. All right, so that is a striking coincidence, if it is a coincidence. And on our next episode, we will continue on effigies. However, one of these two bird effigies is overlooking a 40-foot snake effigy. So until next time, thanks for watching.